Okay, so this is in addition to week 1 class training. This session is about trusting your intuition and learning to use a pendulum. Pendulums are amazing tools for checking your intuitive guides, hearing what they have to say, maybe focusing in on the messages you're getting, reassuring yourself. Really, it's just about reassurance. We as humans are obviously here in the physical realm, so physical things appeal to us. Our intuition very frequently gets lost in this really dense physical realm. Through the course, you learn to reconnect to that intuition, but we always have that sense of doubt because there's such a disconnect still between our physical and our energetic properties here, being that it's so dense. A pendulum is an amazing way to make your intuition express itself in a physical way, because a pendulum is only a tool of divination. What we're actually seeing and connecting to is our higher self. Our higher self will come through our tool of divination and give us a solid answer, like a physical answer. And that would be the swaying of this pendulum. So there's no magic in the pendulum. There's no witchcraft or nothing like that. It's simply an extension of my energy. And it's an extension from my higher self and from my guides and the beings that are assisting me. And I connect to higher realms, so they're evolved, compassionate, loving beings. They're not dark entities or anything like that. My pendulum is actually my hair. Because it's an extension of my energy, I was having a hard time calibrating it. Calibrating a pendulum means that you are connected. You have extended your energy throughout it and you visualized it. Before I learned how to visualize my energy and extend my energy out into my tools of divination, I was actually told by a witch to put my hair in it so that it was an extension of my body, so that we would connect better. Now it's still that way because I've left it and I like the way that it works. So you can choose any material that resonates with you. I have a little copper tip here and I love copper, so it's just something that resonated with me. You can use anything really. I've hung my ring off of a piece of string. Anything with a weight at the bottom and heavy on the top. I've actually made bracelets where you can unclip and just hang your bracelet, because they can be useful for anything. Now you don't get punished for using these. It's not like it's nothing like that. I know that there's a lot of, what do you call it, stigma, or some people say that if you use tools of divination too much, that you cause yourself energetic blocks, or that you're somehow inhibiting your intuition or abusing intuition, and that's not true at all. You could use a pendulum 82 times a day if you wanted to. The only thing is that I have a problem with is if you become too dependent on a pendulum, you are not making decisions for yourself, and you still have to be responsible and taking responsibility in your day-to-day choices in life. That's part of the human process. So you still need to take responsibility for your actions, and sometimes that means not depending on tools of divination and finding the answers yourself. But I use them all the time in my readings still, because I connect to souls. So sometimes those souls are deceased and sometimes they are not. And that can be really hard for me to clarify. And I don't want to scare my client and say, because to me they're just souls. They look the same, whether they're deceased or not. So sometimes that can be hard for me to clarify, and I just ask quickly to my pendulum, instead of waiting for their whole life story to come forward. I can ask very quickly, and then I know for sure what we're talking to and what place they play in this person's life. So I'm not like, oh, is your mother dead or alive? And then, that's offensive and hurtful and scary when they're like, oh, wait, is she going to? So it's just a great tool to clarify your messages and make them very direct and clear. The way that you would use a pendulum is you hold it in front of you. You would ask your pendulum to show you a yes, and it turns one particular way. Then you ask your pendulum to show you a no, and it turns another way. Now, don't worry too much about your hand moving or what your hand's doing or anything else. It's an extension of your energy, so don't overthink it. I mean, part of you might move during the process. You don't want to try to be so perfectly still that you're going against the motion and, blocking yourself from answers. Also, sometimes there isn't an answer and it's just perfectly still. I can't make it. There you go, perfectly still. And that just means that that could be the answer has yet to be decided. Sometimes there's things that have not been decided. For example, there was like a whole 2 months that I saw energetically where there were tons of decisions that were kind of like about creating and changing your reality. So it's like the cosmos made this beautiful energy for everybody to kind of change their life dramatically or stay exactly where they were. It was a choice they could make. So there was a lot that was still undecided because everybody was kind of deciding it at once where they wanted to be. And as soon as you make that decision, then the rest of your life kind of falls into place. So sometimes we do have things that are not decided that would not come up. And also we have multiple different futures. So that's also something to pay attention to. I see the future in my readings and because I see the Akashic realm records, and your Akashic realm is how you wrote your story to play out. So many times what I see is like multiple roads, and I can say if you choose this path, you're going to go down here. If you choose that path, you'll go down there. If you choose that path, you're going to go down there. So because we have multiple futures, it's important to ask if this is the future of least resistance or if this is the path of least resistance, because that would be the more likely path based on your decisions today that you might fall onto. And we all have free will, so you could always change that. Unless you're asking a yes or no question about, a past life, that can't be changed. That decision's been made, that life's been lived through. So you can't change what's already been done, but you can change your ability to make your decisions in the future, as long as they're not tied to you karmatically. Karma's a whole different thing. So tools of divination include tarot cards, oracle cards. Some people do tea readings and things like that. But the pendulum to me is just the easiest, fastest way to get results and get answers and connect quickly. Some people use terms like, is it true and accurate that? Or like I said, show me the path. Is it the path of least resistance? Those are things that you would choose, words that resonate with you, things that resonate with your belief system, whatever it is. Sometimes you can do time or multiple choice questions. If you pick a finger, you can say, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 months, and then you can lay your hand out and you can say, when will this take place? And then it'll give you it'll go back and forth over the finger that, represents that time frame, or 2018, 19, 20, whatever it is. So you can use multiple choice with it, and it's a really great tool for that too. It's important that you don't constantly question your intuition. The whole point of my class is to teach you to connect higher to source and your guides into higher self. So the whole point is practicing getting, synchronicities in your life and understanding those synchronicities so that you feel comfortable and at one with your intuition. So eventually you're going to want to wean from using this and depending on it all the time. You might need it for clarification or quick answers, and it might become a part of your system somehow. But being like, this white feather come to me for a message every 5 minutes is not necessary. At some point you're going to have to understand that your guides put a lot of energy into giving you these messages, and you're going to have to find reassurance and confidence in your own skills. Confidence in intuition is really important because as you build confidence, you see that everything actually has a message and purpose. Everything that comes through for a reason. Everything that surrounds you is a message from your guides and higher self. So as you build that confidence, you really open up to all the messages that constantly surround us. Also, I've never actually gotten anything that was inaccurate or somehow important for me or my clients. And when we are questioning ourselves and questioning our intuition, we are missing a lot of the message because we are blocking ourselves, that self-doubt is a block. So you are really closing yourself off to the grander picture or the grander message because you are still functioning in a place of doubt, and that is a negative emotion and a lower level energy, and it becomes a restrictive barrier around our energetic bodies. So understanding that your guides have come through to deliver beautiful messages, and that your messages are accurate, and that everything you get matters, whether it be, a vision of a coin or a flower. What kind of flower is it? What that flower look like? How does that flower relate to the person I'm connecting to? It all becomes very relevant. So understand that there's more that is true that is not true, and don't question yourself, and learn to really trust your intuition in the process.